What's up everyone, Joe Gray here today to talk about some of the unsung heroes of the home gym. Normally when we talk about basics, we're talking about bar, bench, plate, and rack. But I think there's a couple of other things that should probably be considered in that first initial purchase for a home gym that really kind of help bring the gym to life, make it last a bit longer potentially, and make it a more enjoyable experience to be out here, and all around make sure that hopefully you actually use your home gym and it doesn't just collect dust and then end up on Marketplace. Quick housekeeping item before we proceed. Almost everything in this video I paid for myself. I will mention the couple of things that I got for free as we go, just so that way you know that I'm being transparent. In the description, I will have links to everything I mention here, as well as some helpful guides and stuff like that to cover some of these topics as well. If you want to support the channel at no cost to yourself, the things I do in the home gym community, etc., use those links, help me out. I appreciate it. All right, let's get in. All right, the first item on our list is flooring. If you Google search home gym flooring, you're gonna get a wide spread of options from your local hardware store to online retailers to Amazon. Everything from very expensive, meant for a huge, giant commercial gym, to the cheap, funky foam garbage that should never enter any serious lifting space, and everything in between. What I'm going to tell you today is that you have basically two options that you should probably consider. The first, and this is going to be the answer for the vast majority of people, is horse stall mats. Horse stall mats are, as the name implies, meant for horses. So they are meant to take a beating over and over and over again from some very heavy animals. Thus, they do pretty well in a home gym environment. They're fairly cheap, affordable. They're kind of a pain to move, but not terrible. We actually had horse stall mats in our garage up until very recently, so well over 10 years in my gym, progressing from the very early stages where they were only on the platform to filling up an entire one stall garage. The horse stall mats were a staple piece. They actually still are on my platform, and I have a whole bunch of pieces that I use for various odds and ends and different things throughout the gym. But we recently upgraded to rolled rubber flooring, which is a nice kind of premium feature. The reason why we went with rolled rubber flooring is because we use both sides of the garage for the gym. But that's only when in use. When not in use, we park the car on the other side of the garage. Horse stall mats, if we wanted to cover the whole thing, would probably have some issues with moving around and transitioning under the weight and kind of shearing effects of the car pulling in and out on a regular basis. Horse stall mats don't look as good, but they work exceptionally well, and they are significantly cheaper. Thus, they are probably the go-to for 98.9+% of home gym owners. So if you're looking for flooring, I think that's where you should start, is horse stall mats, probably from your local Tractor Supply or something like that. Number two is going to be a good fan. For me, living in California, the summers this last year and the year before have been pretty brutal, which means working out in the garage can be a little tough sometimes. We have one fan that's up in the corner up there that is always plugged in and always accessible. The nice thing there is that some of those days where maybe you start off with a sweatshirt and long pants on, but you start warming up and you start doing your thing, you start getting a little warm, that's a good way to keep the air circulating and moving and cool you down a little bit throughout your workout. We've also added a large standing fan over the years, which goes right in front of our side door. It has the ability to pull fresh air in, whether we have the door closed or not. It's a nice way to keep that air circulating. And then we also recently just added another floor fan. Again, it's been very hot here. So then that way that can stay with us no matter where we're going. So if I'm on the platform or on the FT2 or doing work on the floor or whatever it might be, that fan can move and groove and do what we need it to directly on us. So it's not just the space itself, but cooling us down directly. If we really need it, we do have a fourth fan, which is our portable DeWalt fan. We take this to my daughter's basketball and soccer games, as well as use it here in the gym. It can go in small spaces, it can sit on a dumbbell rack, it can even ride on our sled, which is awesome for the hot working days outside. So that's an extra piece to the puzzle. Now, I would say that ideally we would have fully insulated, finished garages with AC or mini split or something like that. But our house was built in like the late 70s. It is not insulated yet. I'm looking into that. The retrofitting price, cost, etc. to make that happen is fairly high. So it can be kind of a burden or a barrier to entry for a lot of people to make that happen. So I think fans are a suitable replacement for the most part. Whenever this gets brought up, cooling or heating or something like that, somebody always has some snarky reply of like, well, just get over it or tough it out or, you know, count it as part of the workout. Yeah, I mean, kinda. There's some actual scientific research out there that points to the fact that being overheated actually limits your ability to perform. So not only do we have a potential health concern of it being straight up too hot, not only do we have a lack of just quality life enjoyment from it being too hot, but we have a literal performance issue when it is too hot and you cannot recover between sets and give your full effort. Investing in cooling options can help you be a better home gym lifter in a number of ways, and it's why I recommend picking up a good fan. Number 3 is lighting. So we recently did a big upgrade in our space in a number of ways. I'm gonna go ahead and turn these off real quick. The reason why I think lighting is important is, one, it's a safety feature. So if you're trying to dance around inside your gym with limited lighting, that is how you stub a toe or break a toe, as I have done in the past, and all kinds of fun stuff. Number 2 is there is a legitimate performance aspect to lighting. Bright lighting increases neurotransmitters in the brain, which lead to improved mood and performance. So having good bright lighting is kind of like taking your pre-workout. Number 3 is it just looks good. The better, cleaner, brighter lighting makes your space pop much more than the kind of dull, drab lights that typically come in a garage. Now, why would you not do lighting? My guess is you ignored it for a while for the same reason I did, which is the expense. Not necessarily the expense of the lights themselves, but the expense of having to get an electrician out to wire them to be able to use them. I probably have an answer for you. So when we went to go upgrade our lighting, I bought these Barina LED tube lights. These are recommended by a handful of guys. Brandon Campbell had them at one point. They've got like 22,000 reviews on Amazon, so they are very popular. The downside is that, you know, like most things, you have to plug them in. So these are items that are going to go up on your ceiling that then have to plug into an outlet somewhere. Okay, well, I've got a couple of outlets that are accessible in the garage, but they're shoved back against the wall and up in the ceiling. How do I possibly turn those on? They do come with this, which will plug into one of the lights, and then you've got this nifty little tab switch here to be able to turn them on and off, which is awesome, except for the fact that that would now have to dangle out of the ceiling, so that way I can reach up and flip that switch on and off. I ended up kind of randomly stumbling on an item that I think is very cool, which is this wireless outlet plug adapters. So you saw me turn on the lights earlier with this guy. These control the 2 outlet plugs that I have. So the lights are plugged into one over here and one over here, and those 2 are controlled by this switch. Hopefully you can see if it focuses, 1 and 2 on the buttons there, and I can push 1 to turn on 1 light and off, and 2 to turn on 2 lights and off. And what's cool about that is that This actually goes, it's not only just a wireless remote, it goes on the wall over here and looks just like a typical switch without any hard wiring, without an electrician, without any extra real crazy work. This is a simple and easy fix. So lighting is a big one, and I think luckily with the cool technology we have today, you can get around the heavy expense. If you want, you can even make these a smart device if that's something you're looking into. So number 3 is lighting. Definitely don't skimp on it. It makes your space so much better. All right, number 4 item on our list today is cleaning products. You spend a lot of money investing in your home gym. I think you should try and keep it relatively clean. Now there's a couple of reasons there. The first one is it just looks good. Clean floor, clean plates, clean gym in general looks good. One of the reasons I mentioned earlier for the lighting, etc. The other piece is that it can extend the life of your gym. Not only make it function better right now, but hopefully stay together in one piece for the long haul. For the majority of cleaning in the gym, you probably just need a rag and a little bit of water and a little bit of time to dust things off and get it clean. But for our flooring choice and some of the other items in our space, like our bars and machines, we probably need a specialty tool. A lot of people will recommend for the floor to use a leaf blower. You can blow out all the dust and leaves and things like that and get to work. For us, that never really worked very well. I'm not sure why. Maybe I'm not very skilled with a leaf blower. What I found was all that did was it blew the dust around off of things and up into the air. It never really got out of the gym. So what that did was just made everything dirty instead of just the floor, and also agitated my sinuses. So I started sneezing and coughing and stuff. So that was a no-win. The other piece of the puzzle there is that my wife kind of has a no leaf blower policy for our house. That's a whole nother story. I will put that in the comments below if you want to check it out. It's a pretty good one. But basically, no leaf blowers in our garage gym. Instead, I managed to come across a recommendation on our home gym at one point recommending the Bissell Crosswave. So this is a mop and vacuum all in one, which is pretty nifty because then you can tackle both of those in one instead of having to vacuum and then mop. I'm currently only using water in it. It goes through about 1 tank per use. I have not replaced the filter at all. I've just been cleaning all that. So far I bought this on Marketplace for like 30 bucks and it has been good for multiple years now, which is fantastic. It is pretty gross what gets picked up every single week. Now obviously this includes some tire treads and stuff like that that come in and out of the garage, but still, it's pretty disgusting. So the other piece other than flooring is our bars and our machines. My friends over at Barbell Rescue sent me their Barbell Rescue brush and cleaning kit that they recently launched, and I have had a number of barbell brushes over the years. The Harbor Freight kind of cheapo basic ones, as well as some dedicated barbell brushes from other companies. And in my experience, the barbell brush itself is the best one. The obvious reason, number one, is that it is a completely round piece, so you can just slide it up and down the barbell shaft. Number two is the fact that these things last a long time. I've talked to Kim at Barbell Rescue, the owner, and he's told me that even their prototype models are still in use today, several years later. You can't say that about the Harbor Freight ones, which, while they are cheap and you could buy a few dozen of them before you'd equate the total price or investment of a barbell rescue, you are going to consistently burn through those every single time you use them. So in my opinion, this is a better long-term investment for your gym, assuming you will take care of your bars over and over and over again. With their kit, they also give you a towel and the oil. The oil can be used on the bar to give it a nice protective coating. It will also go well with that rag to be able to go on the guide rods of your machines, which is absolutely awesome. Where I can take care of my equipment so then that way it performs better and lasts longer, I will do so. And I think that the investment in cleaning, both in a good tool for your floor that saves you time, as well as a good tool for your bars, machines, etc., again, that will save you time and money over the long term, is a worthy investment. All right, and number 5 is organization. I believe organization to be a kind of key piece to your home gym, whether you have just a couple of things or a whole lot. When I first started out in my home gym journey, we managed to fit the rack, multiple bars, benches, plates, etc., all in the back corner, well organized with pegboards and different shelving units, and still fit my car in that space. So, which was not going to be possible if there wasn't some laid out, well-chosen organization options. Today, we've graduated to our mass storage unit rack over here, as well as wall control throughout the gym. The mass storage unit is a basic one from our local hardware store. They now offer some kind of build your own sets, which are pretty cool. So you can get different size heights, different widths, different dimensions, all kinds of things depending on what your goal is. These things hold like 1,200 pounds per shelf, something just absurd, which obviously makes them plenty ready for the home gym environment. They blend in pretty well. The color, powder coating, etc., kind of looks like the gym equipment that I have throughout the gym, which is nice as well. And depending on how you use it, like how we have ours, you'll notice that it's not on the wall, it's actually off the wall a bit and back. This gives us not only the shelves themselves, which we can then leverage hooks and things to hold other items on there as well, but we can also use it as kind of a three-dimensional wall where we're able to use vertical storage options on both sides. So this has been a huge piece to be able to add various machines and stuff and knickknacks into our space. Whether we're talking about pads, attachments for benches, or storing things like the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro or the Booty Sprout or whatever it might be, this gives us the ability to do that all the way around, which is awesome. On top of that, I mentioned wall control. So we have wall control in 3 different places in our gym at this point. One holds all of our knick-knacky straps and things over on the wall, as well as our chains, collars, etc. The other one holds all of our cable attachments over on the wall over here. And the third is actually in my production gear setup, where I have some of the tools and stuff that I regularly use to assemble gym equipment. Wall control is awesome. I've talked about it in a whole bunch of different places. If you're not familiar, it is American made, it is all metal, it is aesthetically pleasing, and it is strong and awesome. It holds these chains which weigh over 100 pounds total and has held them for multiple years without flinching, as well as, again, all the cable attachments, metal stuff, etc. It's just awesome. Their customer service is fantastic. I have nothing but good things to say about them as a company, their product they offer, etc. On top of that, you'll see that I also have some other storage solutions, from the commercial plate tree that I have to a DIY barbell storage solution across the back wall, to the 9-bar storage that I have for my kind of oddity specialty bars that are a little more difficult to store. Everything has a place and is stored correctly. And the reason why I think that is important is because there is absolutely no way I would be able to fit as much as we do in our space and effectively access and use it when I wanted to if it wasn't stored properly. If you're just shoving crap in a corner, it's going to be really hard for you to get that one thing that's under 12 other things. The way we have it, at best, I have to move one thing out of the way to grab something else. In my opinion, well thought out, well selected, and well implemented storage solutions not only make your space look better, but 100% improve your ability to add things and just in general use the space more effectively. Pew, 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 bonus tip. All right, I got one extra one for you. We're gonna round it off at 6. Promise 6 is it. This one is gonna be including something for everyone, or in general, thinking about the space for everyone in your household. It's called a home gym, right? So hopefully everyone in your home uses it. So luckily for me, my wife and my daughter both lift weights. So I went out of my way to acquire their own barbells for each of them. On top of that, when my daughter started to try to copy us in our rickshaw work, both deadlifts and carries, we made her her own. There have been various ways that we've been including my daughter throughout the years, even to the point of giving her her own Ninja Warrior setup, which is above my head right now, and different things so then that way she can use the gym in a way that is safe and comfortable and enjoyable for her as well. Then there's some specific items that really make their time more effective, make things more accessible for them. So first up is, I'm gonna say bands. Bands are something that I use all the time, so does my wife, and they were a great teaching tool for my daughter in terms of helping her lift and do different things without being worried about her hurting herself at a very early age. We were able to do pull downs and rows and curls and triceps work and all kinds of stuff when she couldn't even lift 5 pounds. Now that she's bigger, obviously, we're able to incorporate some of the actual cable machines and different things into her workouts, but bands get used all the time in our space. I recently started using Living Fit bands. These bands, well, all bands from my experience are basically the same thing. The difference, and the reason why I tell you specifically about the Living Fit ones is that they have a really good warranty around them. Their customer support, when talking to the team, they know that bands snap. Sometimes you just get a faulty one. They're willing to replace them on their dime to help you keep using them. It's not something I've seen from any other company, which is pretty cool. Number 2 is micro gains. So this is both the plates as well as the dumbbell plates. The plates themselves get used by my daughter pretty much every time she lifts, whether we are trying to increase the load on the cable stack ever so slightly, or we are trying to add weight to her bar or her rickshaw or anything else. The microgains plates are our first go-to item. They are fantastic for kids because it lets them feel like the rest of us adding weight to the bar without having to worry about loading 5s or 10s at a time. So she can be comfortable in what she's adding while still feeling like she's lifting like the rest of us. My wife uses the dumbbell plates pretty much every time she uses dumbbells because most of her working sets are in the 5 to maybe 30 pound range with dumbbells. So jumping from, let's say, 10 to 20 is a literal 100% improvement or increase in weight. So having the dumbbell plates to be able to bridge that, whether we have the 1 1/4 or the 2 1/2, allows us to jump much smaller and make progress. Whether we're talking about warm-ups and bridging between those two, or we're talking about actual progression from week to week. They also store very easily now on this magnetic dumbbell storage pin, which is awesome. So Microgames is really taking care of a whole host of the accessibility options in my space to be able to include my wife and my daughter, who aren't big, bad powerlifting dudes that just go, screw it, just give me the 30s or the 50s or whatever. Of course, we weren't going to leave out our furry friend, member of the family, so Jax has his own bed out here in the gym. We hook him up to various pieces of equipment in different ways. His bed is from a company called Bully Beds. It gives him plenty of cushion and support and comfort out here, especially in the cold months where it might not be as enjoyable to be out here for him. He still gets to spend time with his family. We get to spend time with him and enjoy him being out here. And if the mail lady or anything like that comes up, they get to pet him as well. So make sure you are creating an environment in your space while you're setting up your home gym that includes everyone in your home as much as possible. I think you're going to enjoy it much better. You won't have to have the argument over spending money on new equipment ever. I've never had that in my entire relationship. And in general, you will just get more out of it as a family, which I think most of us probably have started a home gym for the sake of improving your life, for your family, keeping up with your kids, spending more time with them, etc. So include them in the space and you'll get even more out of it. Okay, let's wrap this up. So that is my 5+1 items that I think you should consider for your home gym as kind of the basics piece. So again, bar, bench, rack, plates, as well as all these other items we just mentioned, kind of round out the home gym to make it a more cohesive and better environment to be a part of. It should add longevity to your equipment by taking care of it better, as well as just in general making a more enjoyable space to be in for you and your family. I recently asked this question over on our home gym and got a whole bunch of different answers. I will leave that link in the description so you can check that out, see what everyone else's thoughts were. If you're not a member of our home gym, it is a whole group dedicated to home gym discussions, sharing equipment, asking questions, the whole deal. They have over 1 million subscribers. I am a moderator there, so I'm a little biased, but I think it is probably the biggest and one of the coolest spaces on the internet to talk about home gyms. In the description, I'll have other links to resources for you, so links for all the stuff I talked about today, as well as articles on my website and other videos I've done to help you set up kind of the basics around a home gym. And before you leave, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the list? Did I miss something? Would you add something else? Would you remove something? Do you have a different recommendation for lighting or the cleaner or whatever it might be? Go ahead and throw that down in the comments below. Totally cool if you disagree with me. That's how we all learn and we can come up with better recommendations as we go. And with that, I hope you liked the video today. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more stuff just like this. I got a ton of reviews and different things coming at you real soon. You can check that out on my review pipeline on my site, as well as vote on what's coming next. And that's it. I'll be back with more home gym awesomeness for all of you very soon. Peace.